Okay, here's the other one coming in. Goes in like that, and then gently bends over to there like that. And that's those 3 tracks in. Just need to cut this guy. There, where are my safety glasses? Well, at least wear glasses so I can see anyway. And I'm going to get one more thing. And blocks are wonderful weights. You just go ahead, throw that in how you want it, put it on there. It'll hold it while you play around at this end a little bit. And all you have to do is mark on here where you want to cut it, which is hard to tell because it's right under a tie, so it's right about there. This one's right about there. Now we have that marked. Take this. The marks are quite small, but we'll just cut on the outside of them a bit. Figure out what we'll use that for later. Then we know we're going to have to remove some ties. So let's just put it back to there for now. I use this sprue cutter, works quite well for this. Then I will cut it. If you can, I don't know if you can see, but I have black marks there and it's cut in front, so I'll cut it back to the black marks. Take the little pieces of rail and throw them in the garbage. Then take my file, and I don't know whether you can see, but it still leaves a little bit of a ridge there. I just want to file it smooth and 90 degrees. There, once I've done that, let's try fitting that in. You can see I need to remove one more tie. So we'll just go in here and we'll clip. Clip. X-Acto knife works wonderful for doing that as well. But I'll get these into the Atlas joiners. Okay, there's a bit of a snag. That could be because I didn't file underneath like I should. Just grab the file again and yeah. File the bottom smooth and file the web smooth. And we should have no problem now. Try again. Yep, those go in fine. It's a little bit long still. So I'm going to do it. That one's pretty good. That one needs just a touch off of it. Let's do the following. Let's make sure these are all the way back. Yeah, those are still a little bit long. I can take it off of this end or this end. But this end is already at the right angle, so I'll take it off of that end. I'm just going to clean up these ends a little. Oh yeah, I didn't clean them up. That was part of the problem. You probably can't see, but there's just a little bit of a burr on the end there. So I forgot to clean that up. Make sure those are at 90. Get rid of any rough on the bottom. Make sure the web is okay. And that'll fit right in there like that. And when it does, okay, this one's a little, make sure we have the right running angle into here, which I think is about like, yeah, about like that. Keep that like that. And this guy just comes down here, join in like that. Okay, that's good. Perfect. Now, we'll just put this in here. Fits in nice. That fits in the way it should. I'll have it glued like that. Just a little bit of a gap in there. And that all looks good. Okay. So that one's okay. Next up, this guy. Okay, I need a little off of that other inside rail. Okay, fits like that. That's good. Comes around there like that. Okay, we'll put that in place like that. Take this guy, which needs to curve a little. And we'll mark the rail. Just right to there. Just right to there. We'll cut off the tie. That should work right there. That's off. Go over here. Just nip the ends of the rail off to the black mark. Do my cleanup in the rail here. Back in, double check it. Yeah, I'll probably dress that a little more later. Now what I need to do is make sure these are aligned the way I want to. Enter magic alignment tool. Now that I have that all aligned the way I want to, the track is where it should go. I'll just double check here. Yeah, I may pull a little more off of there. I have a little pokey probe, so it needs to go in right under there, right there. That's where that one will go. There we go. So we got that track measured. Let's go and solder on the feeders and drill the holes. So we'll lift this up. We'll pull this out. We'll drill the holes. Through a bit of plywood. I need to make sure that went through. Yep. Then we'll take the other one here. Cork, foam, plywood. Okay, and packing cleaner. And we want to make sure, drop that piece of rail through. There, goes through okay, just got to find the right angle. Okay, we'll redo that. There we go, that's through. If you make sure it's through like this to start with, then when you try and drop your feeders, you know your feeders will come through. That way, if there's a little piece of wood that's underneath there caught somehow, you've cleared it out. Now let's take this over and do the feeder wires. All right, I now have the location of the feeder wires marked. I've got a little black piece there, a little red piece there. And what I'll do is cut out the ties underneath, and when I do the marking, when you look at the bottom of the ties, you'll notice there's a gap in there, and that's where I mark it. So if I always mark at a gap, I should be good. Clean out the little pieces there. Now, double check again. Pull the ties apart a little bit in that spot. There's a little piece of tie stuck in there still. Just stick your fingers in and move the ties apart a bit. That way there's a little more gap there. Then grab some flux. Flux on there. Flux on there. Here's the drop wires I'm going to use. Here's my stripper. So all you do is strip a little bit off like this. What is that anyway? That's 1/8 of an inch or so. Then I like to flatten a little piece and bend that 90 degrees and straighten that out. That way that little flat piece will press right against the track. If it's a little bit too long, you don't have to worry because you're heating it up, it'll melt into the track. Next up, tin the track. So we'll go back to here with a little bit of solder. And let me just get my holding device. So I have a couple of these around. I'm going to put this one off camera, I think it is anyway. Holds the track in place. I just don't want it to jiggle around. I've done it a number of times without doing this, but let's just make sure nothing jiggles. Heat up the solder just enough so that it adheres and flows a bit along the bottom of the rail. You don't want to melt the ties or anything. Then you take your solder like that, so yeah, you can see that. Take your feeder wire, dip it in flux, bring it over to the solder, touch the solder on it, and invariably when I do that, a little bit of the insulation melts, but I'm not concerned about that. There, I got those on. Now, do you remember which are red and black? No. So we go back here and we flip it. Aha, there's the red one. So that's the red one. And it goes in that way. Put that back on to hold it in place. Easier said than done. So the red one, we simply hold in place like this as we come in with the soldering iron and touch it to melt the solder. And that's the red one in place. Do the same for the black one. Hold it lightly where we want it, and then just touch enough to melt everything. There you go. Clean my soldering iron, turn it off, take a look at it and go, oh crap, I kind of blobbed that one. So if you look, you see there's a bit of a blob I left there, but nothing on there. Again, once this is painted, you'll never know anyway, but I like to have them neat like that. Oh, and the test to make sure you're soldered, boink, 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 boink. And then of course the last thing again, let's clean up just in case. You want this to last for the next 20 years or whatever, I don't know. Get in with a toothbrush. There, with the alcohol, and that'll clean that up. Have a piece of paper towel I can use just to make sure everything's clean. Everything's good. Now we go back to the layout, make sure it'll fit.